I'm going to start this recording, and we are recording, and I've got Kelly. Hello, Kelly.
Hello.
Oh, I muted my. There we go. Hi, Kelly. Can we have your last name so we know who you are?
Yeah, Kelly Brooks.
Kelly Brooks.
Brooks?
Hi, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Annabelle.
Hi there,
And Kim is on as well.
Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hi, guys. How are you?
All I can remember is that girl. Kim, what's your last name?
Heimberg.
It's Heimberg.
Thank you. Nice. Welcome. It's good to see you.
You as well.
Jack, Nelson, Mary Ellen, John, Kelly. Yep. That's it.
Okay.
All right.
Kelly's driving. Cool. Oh, never.
Oh,
Also driving. Hello, Kevin. How are you?
Is this VIP only, or?
yes.
There's another member, I think, down the back lot. I pulled down there and it was all, it was
You can
all,
tell him.
We have some space.
If you can sit up, yeah.
but
Yeah.
the door's locked.
Okay. I'll get the door down. You get it? Yep.
Kevin,
Okay.
what is your last name?
Hogan?
Hogan. Hogan.
Yeah, just want to grab a seat and
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
grab a seat.
make sure we're good spaced out here.
How are you kids? Everyone good?
Everybody's good.
All
Kids
good.
are all. How's your husband?
The kids are all right. Yeah.
He's good.
No COVID?
Excellent.
No COVID.
Yeah.
No COVID.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that has it, so.
Nope.
Yeah, fingers
That's
crossed.
the way it should be. Keep it that way.
Everybody's behaving. At least down here.
Yeah. Well, not in the
You
No,
guys,
we don't have to.
you guys aren't going to any frat parties or anything?
Yeah, I don't get invited anymore. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, Hannaford is not requiring masks. They are offering them and suggesting them.
Well, Hannaford and Gilderland, there's somebody at the door.
There's somebody at the door in Hannaford and Esperance as well, but they're not to fight with customers. They just offer a mask.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Gotta grab a chair in the back.
Sit over
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Did you decide Zoom wasn't gonna be stable for you either?
I didn't even read my message
Oh,
until I
that's
was
it.
already out here in the parking lot, so.
So I really decided I can't Zoom.
But yes, it is
Right.
there, everything's been unstable lately.
Okay. I think we're good to go. It's been a while. Been quite a
Yes.
few months. Was it since like March?
I think it was
Or
February when we last met,
It's February 5th.
Yeah.
and we had planned to meet again in April.
Yeah.
We had also planned to have a table at Waynesburg Day,
Yeah.
and both of those plans were canceled. So welcome to everybody who's new and hasn't been here before. On the agenda, I changed to have a new business be first. And the reason is COVID has brought some extra difficulties to we who have no hardwired broadband, at least those folks on Creek Road. I don't know about other people in the town, but when COVID hit, schools closed, people came home to work online. And our our AT&T home base hotspot, which was our connection to the internet, worked until about early July. And then it started failing. That is, we just lose connection. Or the speeds are so low that you get bumped off. I have done some research spent a lot of time on the phone with AT&T and discovered that what it is that the home-based systems are deprioritized when towers get too busy. And so our AT&T home base is now deprioritized. If you switch to your cell phone data, you may have a better connection. But the problem is that they don't have enough bandwidth anymore with everybody using them.
So what kind of home base is it?
It's called an AT&T product. It's a cellular router, and the product name is Homebase. They're no longer sold. My husband and I are now experimenting with resellers of data on cellular towers. And they are buying data from Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile, and reselling it, packaging it, and reselling it. And sometimes if you pay more, you can get a higher priority on those towers. And that's what we're aiming for. A company and a connection with a high enough priority that we don't get bumped off. And it's not happening. So my daughter, who is attending college as a freshman now, we are sending her to auntie and to grandma for school days because she can't go to a college lab and get dropped from the dropped from the lab. And anyway, we have the advantage of having other family in town who are on broadband connections. So I feel lucky. But I see that to the extent that we have unserved in town and we're relying on internet, on cellular hotspots, it is a problem. It just tells us that mobile is just as important when in a connected world as a hardwired broadband connection is. At any rate, that's my new business. Does anyone else want to put any information in on their circumstances since COVID started?
I would agree. Same Creek Road issue.
On
Same
Creek
cell
Road, we're
tower,
having the same issue.
Same issue, constantly failing. You try to FaceTime someone, it starts, it fails, it loses its connection every 5 minutes.
Can you guys on Zoom hear her?
Yes.
I can hear her a little, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are experiencing those very same issues. My husband has to go out into the backyard. There's a certain spot that seems to be a little bit better. It works sometimes, so he has to go outside to even upload anything. It's been very bad.
So I suspect that once the children start back in school, since the school is now giving out Verizon hotspots, that we may find other areas in town that rely on those cellular towers are also having issues.
I haven't run into that exact issue, but my girlfriend and I just moved to Gage Road, where there's also no wired broadband, which we didn't really even think about that before we moved out here. But we're running from hotspots also. But the issue is we purchased one through Sprint. It's 100 gigs, but we flew through that. That happened so we couldn't even monitor it. It went in 3 days. But then we work for Schenectady City School District, so we were given one of those Verizon ones. But the issue is it does get kind of slow, and I'm foreshadowing that as more people start using those cell towers, that it is going to slow down as well, just because more people are using it, and then it boots by whoever, who has priority. So I think it's probably eventually going to happen too.
Yes. Zach, what's your number on Gage Road?
628.
Thanks. That was just out of curiosity. I know the Nelsons, who also are on Gage Road, I believe. Do you know them? No?
I do not. I only know as of now, I only know my neighbors right next to me. I haven't ventured out too far.
Yes, well, if you meet the Nelsons, say hello. They're nice folks.
Okay.
all.
Everyone I've met's been nice.
We're not in one of the most, this is not a socially social time for us to meet new neighbors.
It is difficult to meet new neighbors during COVID. Does anybody else want to put anything in on that issue?
I want to see O'Brien.
Can you hear me, Annabelle?
I can, Kelly.
Annabelle, can you hear? All right, good. Yeah, because I'm in my car due to the lack of connectivity at my house and lack of cell phone, connectivity. I know that we had a very frustrating time in between every day. I ended up at the end of I'm a teacher, my husband's a teacher, and my son was working from home during the last month. I ended up crying every single day because of the lack of connectivity and, never knowing what was going to happen. And again, like I am tonight, driving down the road because it's not working the hotspot at my house, and my cell phone service has went downhill since the COVID pandemic. We do have FiOS on our road. We do have the poles right in front of our house. They just need to hook it up to the house.
Kelly,
Yes.
are you near the Montgomery County line? Can you tell me where your address is?
We are 1, 2, 3 houses from the Montgomery County line. The lady that was at the last broadband meeting, she's right before the line. I am closer up a little bit, but yeah, I'm on the last 6 houses that they just need to connect because the FiOS is in.
Right. Have you spoken to Angela Santa Barbara about that yet?
No, I didn't know I could. I have spoken to a FiOS guy in the parking lot of the church. I spoke to another guy on the phone that was going to try to find out for me, and nothing. Is Angela Santa Barbara someone I could speak to? I didn't even know.
Roger is sitting next to me, and he's quite right. We have 2
Okay, then let it go.
One is to contact Verizon. Have you contacted them to tell them you want service?
Yes, and they told me they can't tell me anything when I'm going to get it, but
Okay,
it's going to be a while. I haven't called recently, but the last time I called, they knew absolutely nothing.
okay, Kelly, what is your address, please?
1129 Miller's Corners Road.
Okay, I believe there are 4 homes there in that stretch that are still unserved.
Yeah, they did the guy at the top of the hill about 4 months ago, so they're at the end. It's just frustrating. I can see it there. It's just not done.
Yeah.
What was the other suggestion?
Kelly, what is your last name, please?
Brooks.
Brooks, thank you.
I'll send an email. Kelly, this is Roger. I'll send an email. We have the town has a representative with Verizon that does the municipal stuff. And he's helped me out with a few other people that were in the same boat as you, where Verizon, whoever they call, Verizon gives them a runaround. And this guy's been pretty successful with getting an answer for me. So when you have a chance, just you want to email me your contact, like an email or a phone number. My email
Yeah, definitely.
is rtidball, RTIDBALL @DwayneBird.net. Just email me, your email address or a phone number, and with your address again, and I'll contact him to see what's going on. He'll give me an answer.
Yeah, I would really appreciate that. I feel like at this point, I've done the Congressman Tonko letter. I was in the Times Union.
Yes.
I agreed to do the thing with Governor Cuomo. I didn't hear back from them. I'm at wit's end. What else can I do?
Yeah, so Roger's going to reach out to Verizon for you. The only other thing I have is there are locations here in town with free Wi-Fi access. So I want you to know that if you may always park in the lot at Town Hall.
Oh, okay.
Wi-Fi is available and free. If you have difficulty with it, if it's down for any reason, shoot me an email or John Ganther, because he's the one sitting at the table who can also help. There is
Thank
also
you.
free Wi-Fi at the Quaker Street Library. So you don't have to drive down the road. Well, you do have to drive down the road, but you can sit safely in a lit parking lot and use the Wi-Fi at those two locations. I understand that Hannaford also has open Wi-Fi.
Really?
Theirs doesn't work. I've already tried it.
Okay. So the town hall one does work, am I right, John?
Yes, it does.
And if it doesn't, you have a person to call. And the Quaker Street Library also works. And if it doesn't, you can call the Schenectady County Library and tell them you need help and they will help you, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry about that.
No, thanks for all you do, Annabelle.
Katie, did you want to say something?
I'm just concerned about the hybrid nature of school and how that's going to impact on top of everything else, on top of the college students, on top of people working. Now we're going back to the hybrid
Well,
and
I have a little good news. And my little bit of good news is that back in 2018, when we started this project, we had almost 600 homes unserved in the town of Twinsburg, 600 out of 2,000. At this point, we have 217 homes unserved. So we have made progress. There are lots of people who are now served with wired internet. There are 217 of us still suffering.
okay, so originally 2 years ago, explain 2 years ago.
We were close to 600 unserved.
How do we get the other 217 unserved access to that?
Hi, Jamie Lynn. How are you?
How you doing, Annabelle?
I'm okay. In June, I got on the telephone with Charter Spectrum. And I was fed up and I said, I'm gonna pay for a line to my house. And it only took me 2 days, but I got in touch with a person in the Rotterdam office of Charter Spectrum. And I found out that there is a project, a Spectrum project with a number to serve 168 homes in the town of Dwaynesburg.
Does that include the rest of Suits Road or does that exclude us?
I'm afraid it does not include Suits Road.
That's the strangest thing because we're off of two main highways here, 88 and Route 20, and it's already halfway down the road as it is.
So Jamie, I can explain what might be one of the problems with Suits Road, and that is that you guys have DSL. And
Yeah, but DSL, I know according to their standards that DSL 3 megabits per second is high speed. Well, it really isn't.
we know
Because we don't have, let me explain what I've been doing since the last meeting that I attended.
okay.
I got off of Verizon DSL because it wasn't 3 megabits per second, wasn't fast. So I went with Hudson Valley Wireless. It took me a while to find an ISP that would be able to service us. That was supposed to be high speed, and it's an LOS, which is a line of sight. However, the problem with that is it's not as fast as it should be. And then if it's cloudy or if it's raining, sometimes you don't get internet access. And there's times when I worked from home and I had video conferences, it would kick me off right in the middle of the conference, and I had trouble, connecting to the service again.
Yes.
what was the service again, Jamie Lynn, that you?
It was Hudson Valley Wireless. That's what I currently have.
Yes. All right. So
I live on this road as well.
at all, Jamie Lynn?
Excuse me?
Have you done speed tests on that when you're having difficulties?
Yeah, we do. And the speed test is actually less than what I'm paying. So I went from, because you can get up to 100 megabits per second, but I started out with 50 and it was less than that. So I went down to 25 megabits per second and started paying that price. But that still seems to be less than what I'm paying, the actual speed test.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm John. Jay Malin is actually my neighbor, and I live on Suits Road as well. And I have a Verizon MiFi Jetpack, which you're supposed to get 3 megabytes per second, but then it decreases the speed to 300 to 500 kilobytes per second. And I'm a student at HV, and I can't even use or complete my homework. I have to go to my girlfriend's house to do this. And that's all I'm saying is that it's very slow, and I can't even stay at my own house to do anything involving school.
Yes, I understand.
What can we do, Annabelle, to have everybody, according to Cuomo, he mentioned years ago that everybody in New York State was going to have high-speed broadband. And that is not true because we haven't gotten it, and I'm not sure why Spectrum only did like half roads. And then, okay, if you want the rest of it, we'll charge you $56,000, which that to me is ludicrous.
I understand.
I know you do, Annabelle. I know you do.
At some point you said Suits Road.
I'm sorry, can you speak? Suits Road is on the list of houses that were given to Spectrum, Verizon, and Midtel as projects. I'm just waiting for them. It's just been, it was slower than death to get anybody to do anything before COVID. In the sense of COVID, those companies, you know, Spectrum, Verizon, and Midtel pretty much stopped all operations other than emergency work. And just up to about 2 months ago, they just started really working again. So whatever we started with them, pressure in them, so just over the last few months, they actually been doing stuff. I know we have 2 ongoing projects right now on Schoharie Turnpike and on Humphrey Road that they're actually physically doing anything. So they're just slower than death. And other than holding a gun to their head, I've offered them a blank check to get things done. It doesn't faze them. We've talked to congressmen, we talked to assemblymen, we talked to everybody in the world. It's honestly, it's one of the worst things that, you know, as a town supervisor and town board has been dealing with, is getting somebody, you're trying to hand somebody money and they won't take it. They won't do their job. It is absolutely mind-boggling. But like Annabelle said, the projects she was talking about with Spectrum, I just got the phone before I came here with Spectrum. He confirmed that there is something we'll know by the end of the month when the list comes out of what's going to be on it, but I don't suspect Suits Road. So roads like Suits Road, we have the money that was given to us by the county. We'll go back at Spectrum again and say, listen, since these roads were on your list, can we get them done? And if we have to pay the difference, we will. And that's been aggravating. They're still going through all the policies and procedures and everything they had to do with all the trouble that they got in, the 150,000 homes problems, all that stuff has really, really slowed them down on doing any new projects. Everybody's been up their butt by doing everything right, but still seems like every time they turn around, they're in trouble for something. They're absolutely one of the worst companies, I think, for a small town to deal with because we are a small town. Companies like that are always looking for the big money fast. And connecting a road that only has 4 or 5 houses on it, it's not on their target unless we really, really hound them, which we have been. And like Annabelle said, the amount of homes that we've gotten wired with our pressure has been great. We're not gonna stop until it's done. I mean, unfortunately, for how long it's been taking, it's still gonna take a little bit longer, but we won't know, like I said, we won't know what roads are left off until the end of this month. As soon as we know what roads are left off the next project, we'll push forward, you know, because that project's gonna be done out of Spectrum's pocket, not out of the town's pocket. So as soon as we know those roads, we're gonna go right after them and say, we want these done, and let us know how much it's gonna cost us.
Right, so you brought up an important point, which is that Spectrum failed to meet their commitment initially with the number of homes that they were gonna wire as part of the merger. So the state gave Spectrum an extension, fined them significantly, and gave them more time to get those homes connected. So obviously their priority is gonna be to get that certain number of homes connected, and apparently they have some sort of plan to get to that number. So if you're not in that plan, obviously you're not gonna be a priority because they have to get those people connected, those number of homes connected, or else they're gonna be in big trouble with fines again. So, yeah, so if you're not on a list already, or won't maybe be on this list at the end of the month, you're probably gonna be waiting a while, because their priority is gonna be to hit that number.
So that's all well and good, but I will say that Charter Spectrum does not have to complete their build until September of 2021. And those of us who have children at home working, doing school, and who are home ourselves working, that is not a solution. So the answer is continued political pressure. Roger, you're my town supervisor. I need you to do everything you can to get all of us served. And I know you really are.
All we are.
Guys, you have 4 people on Suits Road and you all know that you need better service and you need it soon. Call Angelo Santa Barbara. Contact Senator Amador and the person who will be running again for his seat. Does anyone know who's running for Amador's seat?
Another Amador,
Amador.
Rich
Yeah.
Amador,
Rich Amador.
spelled differently.
Yeah.
Okay, so contact the people who are running for senator in George Amador's seat and ask them what they intend to do to get you broadband. Contact, we have all been in contact with Paul Tonko, and we all know that he's working on the federal level. The only thing that's going to get this done is political pressure. Now, I know that National Grid is now seeking rate increases. And the reason that that matters is Charter Spectrum continues to blame, and I probably justifiably so, National Grid for slowing down construction by delaying pole attachment permissions. So when you speak to Angelo Santa Barbara's office and to the state senators, ask them what they're doing to put pressure on National Grid to speed up pole attachments, because that's going to get us service faster. And there's no reason why National Grid should get a rate increase if they can't help get us broadband, right? It's been a priority for a long time, and it's been a sticking point for all of the broadband providers.
And that's been one of Spectrum's biggest complaints is National Grid.
So is it are we asking for more for National Grid to be putting up these things, or is it more Spectrum?
No.
It's them to give the permission to put the wire on the pole.
What happens is that the provider who is hanging wire on a pole has to get permission from the owner of the pole, and that is either National Grid or sometimes Verizon. It's mostly National Grid because they have to go on electric poles, which are taller. So National Grid, I believe, under the settlement agreement, has 200 days to provide pole attachment permits. So you count. If Spectrum doesn't even apply for the permits until today, when will we get pole attachments? 200 days is
7 months out, yeah.
And what we've heard from Midtel and other providers is that it can be up to a year just to get the pole attachment permission.
That's been one of the biggest hurdles for them.
Now that's the state legislature that would have to approve that, right? Is that,
No,
or is it the
Public Service
Public
Commission.
Service Commission?
Yeah.
And
pressure from the Public Service Commission, from the Broadband Program Office, and mostly from state legislators might help, although National Grid is an international corporation, and But certainly, if they want a rate increase right now would be the time to put pressure on. Roger?
I have a question if I can ask it.
Yeah, John, go ahead.
Now, what do we do? Because we have multiple businesses on Sus Road that need the internet. Because I spoke to all my neighbors about it. We have Iverson Excavating, we have Midway Septic, which are the Ostranders. We have Sarchiato Concessions, and they all need internet to file or do whatever with their business. What can we do to speed up the process? That's my question.
I would, like Annabelle was suggesting, is to start contacting. We're doing everything we can at this level. Is, like she said, start off with Angelo Santa Barbara as a group, either put a letter together or just ask him to come meet you guys on your road and just go over with that. I would start with him. That's basically all you can do at this point. Start with him and see what he can do for you and just keep going from there. And we're going to we'll constantly put the pressure on that we have been doing, but like I said, it's a big hurdle, John.
Annabelle, do we have either an email address or name and address for someone at the PSC that we would target communication to?
Roger, would you like to answer that?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Do we have either an email address or a name and address for someone at the PSC where folks could target? The PSC, I don't know.
They're constantly changing people. Who was the last?
Yeah. I guess we just go to their website. And
File a
somebody.
complaint with the Public Service Commission.
Okay. File.
Yes.
And you can do that on their website, right?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can do that on their website.
Yeah.
But remember that the Public Service Commission does not regulate broadband. They regulate
Right.
cable television. So when you're filing a complaint with the Public Service Commission, you must ask for cable television service or telephone service. Well, your DSL line. But as you guys know, DSL is not broadband. But cable television also happens to provide a wired broadband connection. So, Public Service Commission, the New York Broadband Program Office. Write letters, make phone calls, file complaints. Tell them you want service. And we're here to back you up. You're on our lists. So I think we've covered, does anybody know whether Schoharie Turnpike East has been served yet?
Kim, are you on?
Kim?
No, it has not.
Oh,
Have you seen any work being done?
No.
Well, they were running the cables, right? Last
Yep.
time?
Yep.
They've been very busy.
I haven't seen them do anything since the last email I sent you of the work that they were doing.
So it looks like the cables are just hanging around pretty much, or it looks like they still got work to do?
I don't know. The green boxes are installed.
Okay,
The cable's been laid.
all right.
That's all I know. I keep going to Spectrum's website and it keeps telling me that my street is not served or my home is not served.
so Kim, when is the last time you called Spectrum and asked them for service?
I haven't, because they were in front of my house.
When you're frustrated and need a project, why don't you call them again and find out when they will show up? My recollection is that what has to happen is the construction is completed and then there's a community.
I need to get up and walk around these.
Sales department. And
I'm
then
sorry.
that happens.
I didn't hear anything you said because somebody else was talking.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'll-
Yeah, if you're not speaking, can you please put your own laptop on mute? It'll help us to communicate better for those that are speaking. Thank you.
So Kim, my understanding is that once the construction is complete, the construction department actually has to hand over the project to the sales department. And until that happens, sales can't call and tell you that you can have service. But I would recommend that if you get frustrated or get patient one day, you should call Spectrum and ask again for service. Find out where they are, ask for a deadline. You have kids going to start in school, and we all need service now. The very least.
I can definitely do that. The last time I emailed you and Roger with the status, Roger, you had checked and said that our address was on the list.
Yeah, they, Spectrum told me that they did release the addresses that they were part of their, that they were doing them. That's pretty much how he put it to me. So like Annabelle was saying, that they're, I think you're pretty far in the process with them. So I'll call and find out, get an update also from the construction group to see what's the next step or what they're doing, or what there is a hold up. Because it seemed like
Okay.
the other end of Scary Turnpike, it's like as soon as it was on it went pretty quick as soon as the cables were up.
My concern is that it may be COVID that is preventing them from doing installs in homes.
Yeah.
And if that's true, that's counterproductive to the, and I mean.
I think they are, but it is, COVID is just slowing everything down, but let me find out exactly what the reason is.
There's gotta be a way to.
So I know somebody just got Verizon service on Raymond's Corners, and the guy had to talk the person through from the front door of what to do with the box and everything.
But he did it.
But he did it.
Right. All right. Have you spoken to Mr. Egan?
Yes, about 5 o'clock tonight I did.
And what did Mr. Egan say for us?
Pretty much he's just waiting on that list,
What list is he waiting
the
for?
one we just talked about. The 150 possible homes or whatever,
Oh,
end of the month we'll know.
so he doesn't know who's on that list.
He has not seen the list. Okay,
Would
I
you
know
like me
that.
to articulate that right now?
you told me that. I told him that we knew that.
And he won't confirm.
He cannot confirm what he hasn't
Okay.
seen. So the list goes out at the end of the month and everybody will know.
So
But that list,
why does he think that the list goes out at the end of the month?
because it has to go to whoever. I don't know.
Well, Roger.
PSC, broadband, I don't know. I get them
So
all
here's the
confused.
next question for him.
For those folks that don't know, this Kevin Egan that we're talking about is our business contact. He's our contact at Spectrum that
He is-
Roger deals with directly.
Correct, he is the government liaison for Charter Spectrum.
And Roger, is 150 homes,
I'm just guessing on
It's
100.
168.
168, are
Are
they
you
in
ready?
general or are they in Dwaynesburg?
In Dwayne's.
So in Dwaynesburg,
But
kind of.
please don't quote that number, because that's the number Annabelle was told a month ago or whatever it was, things
On
change.
June 12th.
It can go maybe more, hopefully more, if not, it can probably go a lot less, which we have learned many times. Many times.
So some of those homes may not be in the town of Dwaynesburg. Because,
We won't know until,
Okay, so I'm saying a certain number of homes?
yeah, a large amount of homes.
you can
150,
say
168.
168,
You can say, okay, I can say that, all right.
but they may not all be in the town of Dwaynesburg. Because my understanding is some of them are on Creek Road in Schoharie. So that's not in the town of Dwaynesburg, but it's the same project.
So Creek Road might get,
It's part of the potential project. That section of town.
nice.
But they're also supposed to have wired, their Annabelle's houses on the list to be wired in 2021 anyways.
I'm sorry, the project is not going to be complete until September of 2021.
So it's something they were gonna do anyways, just 10 years from now. They're just dragging their ass.
I'm going to move on. Is anybody else on Zoom who wants to yell at us, please?
I don't, this is Nelson Gage. I live on the southern end of Turnbull Road. And there's a group of 5 of us without broadband, the wired. The northern end of Turnbull Road does have broadband. And it must go along with the power lines, because those folks getting their power from, say, Route 20 coming south, they were the ones that were provided with broadband. Ours comes from 1,000 Acre up.
Yes,
So there's,
can you I'm sorry, Mr. Gage, can you tell me the addresses that you're referring to?
yeah, it starts at 1339, that's the Boyds. And then our address is 1386. And then the Humphreys across the street are 1424. And then the Kapustas and Shirley Schleier are the 5 of us. There's also development of the 2 lots between our group of homes and 1,000 Acre. And, you know, I'm assuming there's an expectation that he's going to want to have broadband as well.
Okay.
But, I mean, at this point, everybody has their own means of broadband. I think I had, similar to what you have, Annabelle, the AT&T wireless, you know, it's a kind of a dedicated broadband connection with the home phone.
Yeah.
Which actually is a nice deal, because I know the one we have, you get 250 gigabytes, which is an outrageous amount. But it was kind of exclusive for, you know, rural areas and even in, you know, upstate New York. I think Jeff Smith has the same thing, because we've talked about it. But what does happen is if enough people are drawing on the cell towers, the speed does decrease. So, and that does become an issue.
Has that been an issue for you recently?
It has, but not to the point where it's unusable. I actually have kind of an antenna for cellular signal, so it does boost what I do get to that device enough so that, again, it'll, you know, it'll prevent buffering, but, you know, I'm only getting speeds, and I just checked it, maybe 12 to 15 download, you know, 8 to 10 upload. If I do it very early in the morning, I could get up to 25. But again, as more people are drawing from the cell tower, then that speed goes down.
What's the ping you're getting?
Probably about 40 to 50, which isn't too bad.
Are you working on a tower south of you, you think? Do you know?
I think we're looking at the tower that's over like on Mott Road.
Okay.
That's my best guess.
I'm pretty sure we're looking at a tower that's north or west of us, and I'm on Creek Road. So
Okay.
our tower is busier now. So what I can tell you is that the reason Turnbull Road north to Route 20 is served is that the Gallows proved to the Public Service Commission about 7 years ago that the density on Turnbull Road from Route 20 to their home was higher than the density on Route 20, which was already served. So under New York Public Service Commission regulations, Charter had to serve them as they would have to serve like a neighborhood, because the density was higher than on the road leading up to them.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. It just seemed odd that they left us out. But again, if it has to do with the power pole permissions, that might explain it. Again, the group of us, our power comes from the south, you know, up north. It's maybe a quarter of a mile at most, but
Yeah, but there's a gap there. Yeah.
there is a gap. Yeah, because there are some wooded areas between the Boyds, and then Frank Barrett's is the last one on the kind of northern service. But
Okay.
So
I'm very sorry about that.
well, it is what it is. Are we at least on the list or even mentioned as a possible?
We know that you are unserved, and the goal of the Dwaynesburg Broadband Committee is to get broadband, high-speed broadband service to every home in town.
Okay. So what are they defining as high-speed broadband?
We're looking at 125.
Wow.
100 down, 25 up, which is the standard according to the New York Broadband Program Office.
Yeah. And be honest, that's a lot. I mean, if we get 25, we wouldn't know what to do with it, but you know, whatever you can make work. So.
Anyway, you're on our list.
Great, thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak now?
It's Kim. I just wanted to say hi to Nelson. I haven't seen him since he retired.
Hi, Kim, how you doing?
Good.
Are you still working?
I'm still working. I got a couple years left, but I'm not there anymore. I'm in downtown Schenectady
Oh,
at the Lottery Building.
This is Katie O'Brien, trying to take notes. I need to know, I just want to ask quickly, the last name of Jamie Lynn. What is your last name?
I can get that for you.
She might have left.
She might have left.
Okay.
We're down a person.
And also I have John Ganther, but there's another John that's on the Zoom meeting. What is John?
Ivison.
What is it?
Mr. Ivison.
IVES.
Oh, I have Ivison already. There was another,
No, there wasn't.
No, I don't
I
think
think
so.
that's the only one.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure I have an accurate
No
count.
problem.
So I'm gonna move on. We addressed Miller's Corners Road. Were you gonna reach out to Verizon on that?
Yes.
Okay. We have somebody at 863 Turnbull Road. That's north of you, Mr. Gage, but that is a primary service area
Maybe by a primary.
for those hits.
He already has cables by his house. His problem is going to his house.
Correct. Did you talk to Mr.
His problem,
Egan
his
about-
problem is going to his house. He's too far off the road.
Okay,
He wants it for free.
okay.
That's his problem.
So how far off the road is he?
He's over the 100 and whatever.
He's 275.
He's well over.
So they're not paying for the 150?
They'll probably pay for up to 150.
So he only owes
He
for
wants
100?
it. He wants the whole thing free.
Okay,
That's the problem.
okay.
And yes. So all I can
And-
say at this time. That's all I will say. But yes, he
And
wants the whole thing free.
And you don't want to have him.
I want to get cable. I'm paying for cable down the road before I pay for somebody's driveway.
Even in a primary service. So part of the problem is, I think, that,
Let me project.
yes, the new franchise agreement shortened the permissible setbacks.
Mhm.
And therefore, that location on Turnbull Road, which would have been served under the old franchise agreement,
It was only 150 feet.
300.
300?
I think it was 200, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't 300.
Oh, and we sat in public meetings where we were assured that, oh, we're not going to quibble
Oh, I
over
understand
100
that.
feet.
I understand that, but I think.
I think,
Listen.
listen, there's more to this story, and I'm not going to say it in public, so
Okay,
I'll just say that.
fair enough.
Okay, so Annabelle, you're saying that the new franchise agreement shortened the,
Setback,
I believe it went from 200 to 150.
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't 300.
There were
Well, you're
certainly
right. They said they would
acknowledgements
work with us.
And
that
they-
it would
and
not be a
they-
big deal
And
to do
they
a
have,
little
and
extra.
they have served people over the amount for free. A lot of ones on, a few houses on that scary turnpike, extra park,
Mhm,
they did. Most
absolutely,
of those
and that's
houses are
why,
way off the road, so.
right, and that's why my
Like I said, there's
expectation,
more to the story.
okay. But my expectation generally is that,
Yeah.
primary service areas should be served.
so
We should work to get
it's,
that done.
just to be clear, the service area went from what, how many feet to how many feet?
I believe that under the old franchise agreement, the setbacks to be served were at 200 feet.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the new franchise agreement for the next 10 years, only up to 150. But again, there were promises made that Charter Spectrum would not be nickel and diming us over that, so we can move on. I don't have anything on assistance from New York Public Service Commission. Would you like to add anything on that, Roger?
I have nothing for them.
Okay. Midtel will not be helping us in Dwaynesburg because they are waiting for the charter settlement bill to be done. Because until that is done, charter will not release the town of Dwaynesburg for them to build into. Midtel's nice guys, and if you know anybody in Schoharie or northern Albany County with these issues, tell them to reach out to Midtel. It's a good company.
Is Mr. Becker?
Yes. I've had no assistance from Senator Amador. If anyone knows the folks running for his seat, I'd love to meet them.
Like I said, one is Rich Amador
Okay?
on the Republicans ticket. I forgot who the Democrat.
I don't know.
I think it's somebody from down south.
Why am I thinking it's somebody with the daughter of someone?
It is a female.
Hinchy.
Yeah, it is, okay. But
Rich
I've heard good things about her.
Amador.
No.
And do you know her first name?
No.
It's not
I
Maurice.
just got the flyer.
Okay, at any rate.
It's easy enough.
Neither of them have reached out, as far as I know, about rural broadband, and perhaps they should be brought into the fold. Assemblyman Santa Barbara has been very helpful. He's been very active. He's the, his staffers put Channel 13 in touch with me, so I have contacts on his staff, but let me know if there's any particular thing I should put pressure on them for. I will be talking to them, I believe, about the rate increase for National Grid. I've had conversations with them in the past about pole attachment issues. And so I'll follow up with them on that.
Hinchy's first name is Michelle.
Thank you. Paul Tonko has also been very helpful. He wrote a letter to the FCC. Of course, his help is on the federal level, and I have not been doing a lot of research into federal grant monies. I think that the FCC may have loosened up and actually opened up some money for New York rural broadband, but I don't know anything specific. Does anyone?
No, I've heard nothing. COVID turned everything upside down, so.
For us too.
Yeah.
And finally, last but never least, social media initiative. Does anybody have anything on that?
No, we use
Thanks for-
Facebook. We reach a lot of people that way.
Thanks for updating the Facebook page regularly.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Sure, of course. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that needs to be done at this point, so.
Okay.
Just going back to those candidates for state senator, Amador, D-U-R-E, is running for Amador, D-O-R-E. Yes.
That's like name recognition.
And Amador is from Rensselaerville and running against Michelle Hinchy, who's from Saugerties.
Yeah, just yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, I just put a address for him in Greenville, New York,
Yeah.
the screen for everybody.
I'm sorry, what about the screen?
I have his address on the screen.
Oh, gotcha. So it's easy to find, huh?
You should put it in the chat.
A-M-E-D.
U-R-E.
Michelle, can she, that's on her. Okay.
Okay. Do you guys want to set another meeting date?
Whatever's good.
Okay, so what we're doing right now is we're considering when the next date will be for us to have a meeting.
Should we do November? Early November? Are Tuesdays available now? I don't really understand what's going on with.
Tuesday's always really been available. Tuesday the 3rd is election day, so that's kind of out.
Right, so how about the 10th?
10th, I'm open so far.
Okay, November 10th. At 6:30,
Okay.
right here. With Zoom. And everybody on Zoom, were you able to hear and participate? Was everybody okay with the?
I think it's a great thing.
Okay, good.
Must be that laptop.
I was fine.
I thought it worked well.
Good.
Okay, thank you very much. It's the laptop speaker.
Yeah.
So the next meeting will be November 10, 6:30 via Zoom. And maybe we'll be able to pin down Charter Spectrum on who will be served in that project.
If that list does come out from Spectrum, will you be able to post that on the webpage?
Yeah, because it should be public information.
Good.
It's not likely to happen. So
What's that?
that Charter Spectrum would make it public.
What goes to, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Right.
They're supposed
I can't
to,
say- I
but
can't say
it
either way.
would be the first time that they were really open.
I wasn't told either way if it's gonna be a, secret or.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't tell you it was a secret.
They haven't
so-
told me, well, I haven't seen they haven't
Right.
sent it to me yet, so.
What was the terminology for that? Is this like their promise by in 1 year that?
It's what they gotta do to the broadband, whoever, PS, I don't even know, I can't even tell you who it is anymore. It's who's governing them to do the right thing, basically.
Okay.
So it's their list of homes that they're gonna be doing.
Yeah, 'cause we got that promise a year
Yeah,
and a half ago that,
yeah.
hey, we did the road and it turns out it's feasible. We're gonna do 63 houses on your road. It's all covered, all good.
Yeah.
This was back in April, and then come September when, like, what's the status of things? Oh, it's, no, fingers crossed.
That's all they can do is fingers crossed. I don't count on anything that any of them say.
Yeah.
Sad, it really is sad.
No, but it is a huge, I mean, the 600 to 200 is, there's still a lot of
If
people
we
out
can
there
knock
suffering.
if we can knock another 150 off and then just go right after those last ones.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
All right, be well, everyone.
thank you.
Thank you all
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna need to ask a question about Turnbull.